The male protagonist bent over at a 90-degree angle towards the sky. Suddenly, an iron box fell from the sky, and this was exactly the mecha that the male protagonist had summoned. In the next second, everyone present burst into laughter. Even Angelita looked at it with an expression of disbelief. The male protagonist's mecha was not only incredibly ugly but also a piece of junk that had long been out of production. It simply couldn't compete with other people's new type mechas. Everyone was waiting for the male protagonist to make a fool of himself in the battle, but they didn't know that the male protagonist was no ordinary person. In fact, he had transmigrated here. It turned out that in order to help his younger sister clear a very popular female harem game, the male protagonist had stayed up for 3 days and 3 nights without sleep and finally achieved the perfect ending. Just as he was about to buy some delicious food to reward himself, his body was extremely exhausted, and he suddenly slipped under his feet. When he opened his eyes again, the male protagonist found that he had turned into a little boy. Through chatting with his elder brother, he learned that he had actually transmigrated into the game world that he had just cleared. In this world, men had such a low status that they were practically livestock kept by women, and as the son of a concubine, the male protagonist had no dignity or human rights at all. Soon, the male protagonist had muddled for 10 years in this world. He thought that he would end his life alone like this, but unexpectedly, his vicious stepmother arranged an outrageous blind date for him, planning to marry him off to a 50-year-old woman who had been married 7 times. The male protagonist didn't have the right to refuse at all because once he refused, he would be sent to the army and most likely die on the battlefield. In order to survive, the male protagonist remembered the most powerful equipment in the game. So, with the support of his father, he boarded a small boat and started his adventure journey. Since he was extremely familiar with the game plot, the magical beasts along the way didn't pose a threat to the male protagonist at all. Soon, he found the teleportation device hidden under the sea. Just as the male protagonist was extremely excited, suddenly a tornado mercilessly tore his small boat into pieces. When the male protagonist opened his eyes again, he found that he had already arrived at the ruins. Seeing a security robot that was exactly the same as the one in his memory appear, the male protagonist was well prepared and shot it, making it lose its mobility. Then, following the development of the plot when he played the game, he successfully opened the door at the center of the ruins. He didn't have time to admire the magnificent scene inside the ruins and directly went to the control room of the spaceship. Just then, a mysterious robot that the male protagonist had never seen before slowly walked out.